My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Slay the Spire. It's time to go with the silent. Ooh, look at that art. We're not going to be turning Ascension Mode Level 1 back on until I have these achievements, damn it. Now, the silent is going to have a little bit of difficulty doing the... What's the achievement I'm thinking of? The silent is going to have a little bit of difficulty doing the 5-card, the minimalist achievement. And the reason for that is because a large amount of the reason the Ironclad can do the minimalist achievement is due to Dual Wield, a rare card that the Ironclad has, that allows you to duplicate things like, in that specific deck, Dropkick and or Double Tap. Double Tap. Not Dropkick or Double Tap. It's Dropkick or Flash of Steel, and utilize those alongside things like Double Tap in order to pretty damn easily infinite. The silent has a wee bit more difficulty because that doesn't exactly exist with the silent. Dual wield, that is. Another try? Don't mind if I do. So if I want to go for a... I'm probably not going to get minimalist as the silent, so I can probably only get one relic because I've got minimalist, one relic, and ooh, Donu. And I don't have access to feed in the silent deck either. So I'm going to trade my relic for a different opening relic. Sozu! Yeah! Gain energy at the start of each turn. You can no longer obtain potions. That's totally fine. I'm also really happy to get Sozu early. Because it's going to allow me to turn down any pickup. Hang on. Just gotta have a wee bit of a quick look at my damage here. But it's going to enable me to turn down Alchemize much more safely. Yeah, let's not continue the weakness train if we can. Alright, and goodbye, Louse. Well-laid plans, calculated gamble, backflip. I could just go for like a value build. Backflip, footworks, noxious fumes, that kind of thing. Yeah. Alright. Remove a card from my deck, more than happy to do so. I'll remove a defend because I just picked up a backflip, so effectively my backflip is better defend. Find a relic? Nope. None of that business, game. You can't make me do it. Oh, but what if we got Shuriken? I'm kidding, obviously. Alright. Backflip, and that would have had to be double strike to keep us safe, unfortunately. Or rather, to kill. Fire potion that I don't get to keep. Acrobatics, wee bit more draw in the deck, but the problem then becomes, what am I doing with all of my draw? Like, what am I accessing with it? I'm not going to take acrobatics until I have some way of dealing some damage. Upgrade 2 random cards, don't mind if I do. Survivor was upgraded, that's really handy because Survivor is a card that you never really remove from your silent deck. We'll upgrade Neutralize there to get 2 turns of Weaken out of it. Yeah, you never really remove Neutralize from a silent deck. It's just always there, and it's just always good. Beautiful. Caltrops is also interesting, but Cloak and Dagger is definitely good. And I'm now pretty much just looking for Noxious Fumes and Footwork, and then this becomes like a build where I just defend the ever-loving hell out of myself. Alright, 3 strikes in the next hand for the kill, please. 2 strike draw. Nope. Neither of those, eh? Yeah, strike had to be the bottom card of my deck there. Don't have any poisoning in our deck yet. So you don't really have any reason to take any of those. Sozu's probably one of the best things that we could have gotten offered, by the way. Alright, I'm going to take 2 damage here to make my life a lot easier and make sure that the Spike Slime... Oof. 3 damage. To make sure that Spike Slime takes a serious amount of damage as it goes into its next phase. Beautiful. Alright, and then it's an easy 7 for the final target. Beautiful. Single copy leg sweep, sure. Extra weaken in the deck. It's also a big block target. I still have no damage in this deck. At all. So, if we could fix that at some point, I would be ever so grateful. I'm trying to get various targets to points where a single even weakened hit will kill them, and then a double weakened hit kills the backliner, and then I've only got 1 target left on the board. It's actually quite nice how that all turned out. Because oftentimes, if you have no AoE in your deck, this fight can be monstrously annoying. Blur. It's 1000% blur. And we're always going to keep blur, but we're also always going to keep leg sweep, and 3 turns of weakness plus the 2 turns of weakness from the neutralize in a deck of 15 means that we will always have a target weakened. So if we're fighting an elite, for example, it's always going to be weak. Okay. Beautiful footwork. And now I just need Noxious Fumes, and this build is pretty much actually like straight up possibly complete. $24. Like, my dude, you're gonna have to try harder to deal damage to me. Unfortunately, this fight is going to be extraordinarily long. Courtesy of not having... any real source of damage in the deck. The Noxious Fumes, that's why I was asking for it, by the way. It would perfectly situate itself here. I don't actually want to use the backflip here to draw, because if I use the backflip and I draw something that I desperately want to play, I'm not going to be able to play it. Wouldn't have the energy. Like, Cloak and Dagger is our biggest damage output card right now. There's something pretty sincerely wrong about that. 2 strikes puts you on the ground right now. Beautiful. Keep you weakened for literally forever. This blur especially is going to make it real hard to hit me. Like, I spent almost all of my stuff attacking an enemy that was hitting me back, and it did nothing. Still couldn't hit me. Thankfully, that 1 upgraded strike and the Cloak and Dagger are actually kind of just holding their own here. Okay. Probably only going to have to cycle through this one more time. Now, this is really handy. The turn that the enemy got to the strategic move, where it's trying to put a negative effect on us, which would be a weaken / vulnerability, it's not actually even going to get to do that. That's super handy. Because if it ever got that activated, that's how it would be able to deal damage to me. It would have to do that. Beautiful. This is a perfect fight. Now, you can see pretty much already, eagle-eyed viewers will have already seen what the problem with this build is. If I ever fight an enemy that scales up, they're going to destroy me. Envenom is a way to deal damage, but we play more defense than we play offense. I think we take After Image, especially because we have Blur. Yeah. Turn them all down. Just had to look at him for no reason whatsoever. I do want to go to an early shop, try and remove a card, if nothing else. Well, that's garbage on my part. Take some damage here. After Image, footwork. Blur, defend. If we don't have 2 strikes to use against this enemy, we may as well use none. We can't even get past your armor. Ugh, boy. We need an impactful card. Like, we're alive. Okay, now what? I should have done the card draw there first. I should have known I was going to be drawing cards that turn regardless. So you make sure to use the largest attacks first so that the enemy's armor is worn away in as few attacks as possible so that we can do as many direct hits to their HP as is possible, because that is what removes charges from plated armor. And the enemy is stunned as soon as you've removed all of the charges from plated armor, and kill him. Upgraded deadly poison might actually be what I have to take here. Nothing else is really shown. If this gives me noxious fumes right now, it didn't. Good. I mean, bad, but good. Footwork is ridiculous and we have to take it. I really want to take Tactician because I will also take then a... Acrobat. We definitely remove another card from our deck. I have another shop soon. Not soon, but I do have one. I'm going to go for Master of Strategy because I do have 2 powers in my deck, 3 powers in my deck, in fact, all of which I want to play quite quickly. And Master of Strategy is also 0 cost, so it's going to be handy with the After Image. It's just a nice dig. Yeah, quite unfortunate that this fight is going to rock our goddamn world. We need to get all of that artifacting done with, because deadly poison is going to be how we win this fight, if we win it at all, in fact. Alright, that might be a bit dramatic to say if we win it at all, but it is worth noting the enemy has made us frail, and we do not do well under that condition. right. I am quite literally just waiting for my deadly poisons now. You can see why I wasn't so keen on the idea of deadly poison. I was holding out for noxious fumes instead. Like, that's just 100% true. But hey, sometimes you don't get it. You gotta learn in this game oftentimes when you're gonna settle for second best. There's the acrobatics. We didn't actually end up picking up the other thing. Tactician, so we're not gonna take the acrobatics now. Nope, that's a relic. That would have been card removal, unfortunately. We'll upgrade After Image. I've got a lot more cards to upgrade. Beautiful. Leg sweep the front line, strike blur. Don't mind if I do. Work master. Real difficult for anything to deal damage to me right now. I'm quite pleased about it. Beautiful. We need some source of inevitability in this deck. The Deadly Poison is doing a wee bit of that, but Noxious Fumes would be doing it entirely by itself. So if only I had that. More important there for me to deal more damage. Beautiful. Than it would have been to get some extra armor on the next turn, courtesy of Blur. So I can kind of rely on my armor. I can't really rely on my damage right now. Could this be it? The one relic? Second copy? Yeah, I should probably get a second copy of Cloak and Dagger just because we have After Image. So when you play Cloak and Dagger, you play 3 cards for 1 energy. You play the Cloak and Dagger, then 2 of the Shivs. That's 3 triggers of After Image, but also it benefits because it gives you the initial block, so it gets the benefit from the footworks. So it's gain 11 block or 12 block when the other one is upgraded as well. Deal 8 damage. It's really good. Okay. Now we'll upgrade the other footwork. Next is going to be the Master. Oh, boy. Unfortunately, both of these enemies have some form of ramp or inevitability that we can't really currently deal with. It is also extremely worth noting that most of the things we play with this deck are skills. I still play the defend here because I've got Blur active and I want the extra block next turn. Beautiful, it turns out to be handy. Okay, front line's dead. Now we can start focusing on the back line. Next turn's going to be pretty garbage, though. I deal... what? 16 damage? But I'll be putting 2 days into my next hand? I can't do that. I'm vulnerable right now. I need my next hand to have a lot of defense. Yep, and we got it. Good thing I didn't flood my deck with all that garbage. That said, enemies likely to attack the turn after that. Nope, they didn't, thankfully. Alright, and we are covered. The poison's doing most of our damage still, which is not good. Actually gonna play both of those this turn, just in case my next draw is garbage. Yep. And my next draw was garbage, although it may have been garbage because of the cards I played. But it did enable me to defend myself against that giant hit. Ooh, that's a big old giant hit that I'm not going to be able to defend myself against, but thankfully, I think I have enough damage to take you out. Beautiful. Nope. Okay. Oh, this fight actually may kill us. I'd love to play leg sweep here, but if I don't start killing these enemies, I'm extremely dead. All of these enemies ramp up ridiculously. And while I've got all my cutesy tactics of weakening and all that bollocks, it's not even gonna touch the speed at which they ramp up. Like, I'm already about to take 9 damage, and I haven't taken damage since the first fight on this floor. Should give you a wee bit of a signal of how kind of, screwed we are? I'm gonna have to use the attack over defending 5 more damage there. 4 more damage there. I think it's that important. And now we only have 1 enemy left on the field. Without this poison, we would have been so much worse off. Like, ridiculously worse off. And without the leg sweep for the weaken as well. Alright, good. Woo! Still, bit of a rough fight for us. Sneaky Strike, deal 8 damage. They renamed it the Underhand. Like, do I have to take Bane now? Just give myself a damage source? Poison is supposed to be my damage source, but the game won't gosh dang give it to me. And now I don't even have enough for a card removal here. It's... whew. Life is hard. Here in Duckburg. This guy just ramps. I can't buy Strength Potion, of course, because of the Sozu. Alright. I really just want some impactful cards, but the game seems allergic to providing them. Alright, it's a face slap. Oh. Beautiful. Not doing anything this turn is handy. We've got a lot of block. It's the second phase that I am not overly worried by. I'm exactly the right level of worried, which is terrifying. We just don't have enough poison in our deck right now. Very often getting leg sweep just about the turn after I would have wanted to play leg sweep. Unfortunately, the enemy is going to purge all of the poison that I've been stacking on them. Maybe not this turn, but it is coming. As soon as that happens, you'll see how quickly this fight can turn. It's all kind of pretty now, but it's about to suddenly stop being pretty. Enemy's next attack might actually be the execute, so I'm gonna make sure that I maintain a lot of block into this turn. Yeah, that's 57 damage. Good thing I did blur last turn. Make sure to blur again this turn, as well as apply the weaken and the vulnerability and the poison. Now, apparently this fight can become infinite. That is to say, apparently the enemy can just decide to metallicize so much that you'll never hit them. Thankfully, they haven't done that to me yet. This blur has been so huge. We would be dead if not for this blur. This is a garbage hand, but thankfully my opponent's not attacking this turn. And thankfully I blurred last turn, so it was going to be really difficult for them to damage me anyway. Okay. Not bad. I'm so glad I picked up that goddamn poison. I was hoping it wasn't going to be necessary, but it turns out it's super necessary. I want to take the adrenaline, but at the same rate, I also really want the burst. So the adrenaline is actually not going to give us that much more impact in turn, right? Because we already do pretty much all of the things we would want to do in a single turn. Whereas the burst is going to give us the ability to draw a bunch more, get a bunch of extra shivs, or get 2 extra turns, or rather 2 turns rather, of blur. I think the flexibility in burst is going to make it way better for us. Don't take a relic. Donu and Decker is really, really rough because, again, Donu and Decker scale. They get better over time. We don't really match that. Oh boy. $25. I weaken, that goes down by like 7. I weaken 11, that goes down to 8. So this goes down by 6. You're dead this turn, but you'll carry it on. I guess I'm gonna take damage this turn, eh? Wee bit. Thankfully, when the fire orbs do their second attack, they actually blow themselves up. So if I have enough block, I can actually just ignore them for that bit. So if I can't stop them doing their first attack, I may as well not stop them doing their second. Just gotta focus on that mainliner before life gets extremely rough. That bursted poison at the very start of this fight is really huge. Can we burst? Nope. Stop healing. Healing is cheating. Okay. Alright, I think we're fine. Beautiful. We did take 18 damage in that fight. That's a bouncing flask. That's a way for us to get a lot of damage out. We're taking it 100%. We need it. I would take the catalyst. Nope, don't want to fight for a relic. I would take the catalyst. This normal strike is fine. If we already had the bouncing flask, but we didn't. These orb walkers are also going to represent some difficulty for us. Now, I know the orb walker is going to attack every turn, so blur is always going to be useful. Beautiful. We've got burst bouncing blast for our next hand, though. Which is pretty damn amazing. Okay, and then just, like, we bit of damage this turn and you're dead. Hell yeah. Yep. It's an upgraded cloak and dagger. It's really good. We do need to upgrade our next, our burst, rather. Our next. Trying to spread out the damage here. This fight actually might be really, really rough. Take 5 here. But yeah, because of how little damage we do, and because we have no AoE, it is going to be real rough to get all of these down at nearing a same rate. Alright. Only 8 damage this turn is super handy. They're all getting there-ish. $16. I use 2 more shivs, I go up to 20. I don't fully block if I use the bouncing flask. It's also really important. We're gonna need to rest soon, unfortunately. Now, if I deadly poison any of you, in fact, you're going to die this turn, which I don't want yet. I want all of you real close to death. Like, the front line and the back line are both going to die next turn. In fact, all of you are gonna die next turn. Beautiful. I feel like I engineered that quite well. Catalyst. Catalyst is now our win condition. And it's going to help us try and ramp up at a rate that is... I actually don't want to transform any of these. Maybe a strike? Yeah, a strike. Piercing Well's fine. Yeah, 100 gold for free, don't mind if I do. Here's a relic that I get to pick up. There we go, got the relic. Lovely. Noxious Fumes, finally! Alright, wow. That's actually really important still. Remove strike from the deck. And escape plan and finesse. I should have gone finesse first. Burst, Noxious Fumes both need to be upgraded, but I also need to rest. We'll rest when we're dead. Oh boy. That's a lot of damage coming in this turn. I need one of them dead. Okay. I just needed to prevent one of the 25s, because that is a lot of damage. Shit, my dudes. Freaking tone it down. Opening the fight with all of those in play was really harsh. Now, quite obviously, I regret not resting in the last campsite, because I didn't think I was going to take this much damage in this campsite. It's actually fine. Might actually be the preferable option there. Alright, we're fine. Oh boy. This is not a good fight either. Alright, quickly pop a weaken on you. Footwork. Good thing I applied a weaken. I'm gonna burst that. Now I know Burst and Catalyst are still in my deck. This is time to throw that poison. Deadly Poison, Burst, Catalyst. And the enemy's dead. Woo! Think that's maybe one Cloak and Dagger too many right now. Oh. Alright. At the very least, we have Noxious Fumes and we have it upgraded. So we have reasonably... like, we have a really reasonable setup here. The inevitability is there. And we also managed to get all of our poisoning active. Poisoning, sorry, all of our powers. Like, the final fight is just going to come down to, can we set up all of our powers? Are we alive by the time we've set them up? Effectively, that's what it's going to come down to. And I'm not certain. Alright, 2 of them are dead. The one in the front line's dead as well. Just not yet. So it dies immediately, and we're done. 21 HP. I should have rested. I should have rested this campfire. I couldn't have known the next fight was going to deal that much damage to me, but I should have just done it for safety's sake anyhow. No! I needed it to hit the front line again so that the piercing whale would get through to Decker. $32 in the back line. I think we're actually just gone now. Yep. They're reaching their inevitability a lot faster than we're reaching ours. That said, those weakens. Alright, maybe there's a bit more play in this than I thought there was. We're gonna need like a really good like blur turn to set up for a turn where we can afford to play a burst bouncing blast. Bouncing blast is in my next hand. Burst is not. Take no damage this turn. They've started to get a significant amount of poison on them. That's 40. These... I don't want to put those days back into my deck. I really can't afford to. 44 damage, and we've got an exact block for it. We need to play the catalyst as soon as it comes up. We're alive by 1 HP right now. We're dead. We needed a burst bouncing blast turn earlier. Like, we can apply a weaken here. We can burst blur. But... yeah, we're still dead. I think... that has been my best attempt at the one relic, and it was goddamn close. We even had 2 perfect bosses. Like, that's ridiculous. You don't usually get that in normal runs. I think the Silent is the correct choice for this. I think that build, in fact, was the correct choice for this. I think not resting 3 spaces before the boss, and I think also not being offered, you know, obnoxious fumes earlier in the entire run, or a deadly or a bouncing flask earlier in the entire run was really, really harmful, because we had to take some cards just to get us there along the way. Like, we took probably 1 too many cloak and daggers. We took a deadly poison that also would have been better off not in our deck, that kind of thing. Ultimately, I'm actually quite proud of how far that one went, to be fair, though. For the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully, you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.